What is up, the Lions fans? We are back. It is time once again. You know the Motor City Cats. They're back at it. Came to give you stats, not static. Make sure, whatever you do, keep your Lions news pragmatic. Today is that day. It is time for us to talk about the Detroit Lions versus the Chicago Bears in the game that will go down tomorrow on Thanksgiving. We will be rocking the blueberries. We will not be wearing the throwbacks for the first time in a long time. I can't remember. I think there was a time where we didn't wear the throwbacks. Um, I'm not overly concerned about what we're wearing. Obviously, I wanted to be wearing the blacks, but that's not what happened. So anyway, hopefully, hopefully we're going to be joined by our guest, Easy, today, but I'm not 100% sure. Hold on, let me pull this up. Good evening, Paul Thomas. What is going on, my guy? Hold on, let me pull this up. Do. I don't know why it's not already up. Yeah, looks like I'm going to be competing today. So just bear that in mind. Yeah, looks like I'm going to be competing today. So, all right. Okay. So we got that up. I'm just making sure the stream quality is what it is. All right. So hold on. Talking to my guest. All right. So, yeah, we're going to be talking about the Detroit Lions versus the Chicago Bears. But before we get into that, good evening to you, Paul Thomas. And salute to you as well. Before we get into that, James Houston. I said it yesterday. I said I didn't want him to go to Cleveland because I don't want anybody to go to Cleveland. And unfortunately, he went to Cleveland. Now, if we're talking about the player and the player getting another opportunity, Dan Campbell said yesterday that, he just thought that it didn't work out and maybe he just needs a fresh start elsewhere. So in terms of that, I'm glad my guy got a fresh start. Hold on. I'm glad my guy got a fresh start. However, it is Cleveland. So what I hope he does is I hope he does just go over there and just like ball out, and he gets in these next how many games we got left? 6. I hope he gets like 7 sacks in 6 games, right? And then he signs a big deal somewhere nice. Okay, somewhere on the West Coast, maybe with the Raiders, maybe with the I mean, what else? The Chargers, not the Rams, because F the Rams, right? But somewhere out there nice, so that he can just, I don't know, you know what I'm saying? So he could just, flourish. I don't like him in Cleveland. I don't. It's, first of all, it's Ohio. It's cold, it's miserable. They do nothing but lose. They don't win out there. You know what I mean? So yeah, that is what that is. Let me check this. Why is my hold on, bro? This is crazy work. All right, give me 1 second here. 1 second. Things are going on here that shouldn't be going on. Let's see with this. Hold on. All right, that's there. Hold on. I got my guest. 1 second. I'm gonna pop him in here. Easy. What's going on?
What up? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Okay, 1 second. I have to fix something. I don't know for whatever reason. My laptop has gone to Wi-Fi instead of wired. So just give me 1 second. I'm gonna go check my modem. Cool.
Yeah, go for it.
All right.
Oh, we're like live right now.
All right. Let me see if I can change the audio situation here. All right. Let me see if I can switch this stuff here. All right. You can hear me? What up, the Lone Spoon? All right. Can everybody hear easy? Everybody in the chat, let me know if you can hear easy. You gotta talk to see if they can hear you.
I think you can hear me. I think.
All right, everything's good. Okay, StreamYard is much easier, right?
Yeah, StreamYard's way easier.
Yeah, way easier than things like OBS, and which are overly complicated to use when you have a guest. Why not just use Streamlabs sometimes, right? Okay, so the stream health is still pretty bad, even though I am wired. But if you guys are good, we'll just go ahead. All right.
Yeah, my connection is good. I mean, at least like I can hear you. You're not freezing up or nothing.
Yeah, but I'm watching it, and it's just like I got like one bar out of the 3, in front of me, and I fixed the wired situation. My son thought that it was more important for him to be on the PlayStation.
No, you're good. I mean, the chat will let you know if it's going bad. What's up, man?
All right, nothing much. So we're gonna go ahead and get into this, man. But first, let me get your opinion on James Houston, because of course I made a video yesterday about James Houston, and I didn't want him to go to Cleveland, and now he's in Cleveland.
Why didn't you want him to go to Cleveland?
Because I like James Houston.
He's gonna be a free agent this year.
But I like him. Like I want him to. I don't want him to go to Cleveland. You know what I'm saying?
I don't want him to Cleveland. Hey, listen, for this year, maybe next year, put him in an AFC non-contender. I don't want to see him. I don't want to bump into him.
Of course.
I still wish him success. He can, he can still get paid. There are tons of good players and bad teams getting paid. Look at the New York Giants. Look at Max Crosby. I mean, he's not of that ilk, but he'll be fine. He's still a good player. He's have to find a system that fits him.
That's true. And you mentioned Max Crosby because Vegas is a place like I want him to go. I want him to go to Vegas. Or, I mean, I said not the Rams because after Rams, but I mean, even the Rams, because you'll be out in LA, you're not going to be contending for anything, right? So, but he went to Cleveland. and that is what that is.
Yeah, I feel like I'm happy. I feel like that's the ideal spot. Plus, if he poops his pants, it kind of matches. You know what I'm saying? Like, he can get away with pooping his pants over there a little bit more than he did over here. Just saying.
They still wear white pants sometimes, right?
Sometimes, but more poop colored. The brown. They're literally called the Browns. Like, he'll be good. He can poop his pants as much as he wants to.
I
Just saying.
guess. I'm glad he landed on his feet. I'm glad he went somewhere where they'll value him a little bit more.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. All right, let's go ahead and get to this game. Welcome, Lone Spoon is in the chat. Donkey Kong is in the chat. He says Super Bowl or bust. Paul Thomas is in the chat. We'll have some others coming through. Chicago Bears versus Detroit Lions. I saw there were some of the things that you guys talked about, right? So keys to the game. I feel like the Detroit Lions, one of the things that you did say, which I didn't think about, right, was that they do have a new defensive coordinator. And that defensive coordinator is not necessarily familiar with Ben Johnson. He's never faced Ben Johnson because we haven't faced him today this year. So I don't know that he's really going to be able to kind of, I don't want to say decipher the offense, but I don't know that his game plan is going to be great against the offense, especially with it being his first time and him being inexperienced against the Detroit Lions. So I think we do have that going for us. But it's not the elephant in the room. It's the biggest concern. What is the reason that you believe that it's most likely Kendall Vildor that will be out there and not Emmanuel Moseley? Because that scares me. Is he there? Oh, it popped in somewhere else. Okay, hold on. Let me add you here. Okay, so now we got two easies.
My sister called and I didn't know what the hell happened. Stopped working.
Okay.
So you're asking about Kendall Vildor?
Yeah, why do you believe it'll be Kendall Vildor and not Emmanuel Moseley? Because I want to be honest with you. I was a Kendall Vildor defender last season because I thought he was in a place where he wasn't supposed to be. He was brought in as a special teams depth type of guy, and he wound up as a starting corner. So I didn't really begrudge him, and I thought he did decently for a fill-in guy who was way in over his head, and he was just put in a pretty impossible situation. But from what I saw last week, nah.
I mean, last week was definitely ugly. Like, there's no defending that first half, to be honest with you. The second half, no receptions allowed. He did his job. And I think last year, like you said, I'm very much on the side of everything you just said about his performance last year. Last year, a lot of the damage outside of obviously that one freaking freak play in the playoffs, like, he was pretty solid. I don't hate Kendall Vildor, and I really don't hate that. I think he's a solid backup option. And like, that's what he is right now at this point in his career. Is like, he's a backup option. So it's like, I don't think anybody should have the expectation of a elite defender either. Like, sometimes that's why that person's a reserve person. That's why they're not starting on the team. And if you don't have anybody else to start, that's what you're stuck with. I also am not going to question the coaching staff too much at all, to be honest with you. Then, like, I'm more prone to question passing up on Jalen Carter than I am Dan Campbell and Aaron Glenn starting Kendall Vildor. But he may not even be the starter. Like, it very well could be Emmanuel Moseley. It very well could be. I don't think it'll be a Meek in this situation because it's a short week. But there are other options, So I don't even know that he's starting for sure. I've reached out, and maybe I should just reach out, but I don't want to be a busybody. I try to be nosy. But I guess that's my job.
It is your job. You do your job, man. I mean, you guys touched on a lot of the stuff that I said yesterday when I was talking about it. And I said I didn't really want to talk about it too much because I wanted to save it for today because this is the breakdown show, or not the breakdown, but the preview show. But a lot of the stuff that you guys said echoed my sentiments about, okay, well, if you move Amik to the outside, then who do you put in his situation on the inside if he was healthy, right? If it was a fifth, we'd all be drunk, as they say. Even though I don't drink, but if he was healthy,
Yes.
then yes, you may be able to, in those situations, all right, let's just slide Brian Branch down into the nickel. Okay, and we can have Amik on the outside because Amik has been an outside corner for most of his career. And it would be seamless and it would be fine. But because we don't have that option, DJ Moore is in the slot a lot. Okay. What did y'all say his name was? Dextrin or what? Dexatrim? What is his government
Wait,
name?
what?
What would you say his government name is? Denison, Dexatrim?
Deniston.
Deniston. Okay.
Deniston Orlando Jr.
All right. So you know why that's not, you know why that name is not crazy?
Because your name's Deniston?
No, because he's Jamaican.
Deniston.
Yes. Right. So
when
when you say it as an American, it sounds crazy. But if you look at the back of his helmet, he's got the Jamaican sticker on it. So that's the only reason why Deniston makes sense.
I did not know that.
Yeah. So, yeah, with DJ Moore in the slot, you know, it's not, you don't want to move Amik out of the slot. My only thing with Emmanuel Mosley is we understand him. We understand his plight and he can't really stay healthy. And I was really happy that he went down and he made that special teams tackle. I think he was covering a punt and he made the tackle and he came off the field and was able to continue throughout the game. And he didn't leave on a cart or a stretcher or anything. So I was really happy about that. So
yeah, that's dope. He's a dog. Like, that's come back from that type of injury. Yeah. Sometimes that's season ending. As much as I got my beat with CJ GJ, I have respect for him coming back too. But I think Emmanuel Mosley, just because of where he's trained, at least in training camp, like where he practiced, was that nickel spot. I'd be more comfortable with him there in that situation if you're bumping Amik on the outside. Amik has played inside like his whole career outside of last year. He started outside for the Raiders. But then if you're a PFF guy, which I'm not really, but just for reference, because I didn't watch all four of his, first years in the NFL. His best coverage grade came when he was playing the outside with the Oakland Raiders, and I remember specifically him intercepting Jordan Love to seal the deal against the Green Bay Packers at some point last year too.
Yep, so I jumped right in front of Watson.
Yep, and I think that could be the move for next Thursday. But this Thursday, it'd be a short week. I'm assuming he's staying inside. And I think you do either situation on the outside with Vildor and or Mosley. But I think Mosley, I mean, that's the situation. You're going to ask him to play an outside cornerback, which he hasn't played in 2 years now. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And obviously some of that due to injury, but I feel more comfortable with him on the inside in that situation.
Well, I think what Amik has done better this year, and it seems as though when we watch him play, and as you said, not big PFF guy, but when we watch him play in the slot, he looks like a dog. He looks really good. And I think the thing that he has fixed in his game, the reason that the Raiders gave up on him was, one, they got Nate Hobbs, and I guess he was just quickly better in the slot. And the other thing was the run fit, which he had it was like, do you want to take on these linemen and things of this nature? But I think he's been really fearless and he's really stuck his nose in there. Isn't he like the best tackling cornerback on our team or something like that?
I think him or Terrion, yeah.
Yeah. So, I think that has helped him in the slot. So I definitely wouldn't want him to
Davis
move.
Is good too, actually.
Who? Davis?
Yeah. Carl Davis, yeah.
I saw on Twitter, I saw a nickname because after Kirby shut down the grad part, I saw someone say Detroit Lock City, and I was like, I mean, that's pretty cool, but you're talking about the whole secondary, and that's fine, but like I said, Ali McNeil mac and cheese, Ali McNeil DJ Reader mac and cheese, Anyway, so we're not really too worried about the Bears. That's my biggest concern. It's just I'm not quite. I think that Kendall Vildor and his saving grace is that maybe he'll just be more comfortable out there this week, because last week was his first kind of action Well, not really. He had come in for somebody before. Uh, was it when Carlton Davis went down? No, he came in
Right.
for somebody.
Who?
Vildor. I think it was Carlton Davis.
Yeah.
Yeah, when
Yeah, I think
Carlton
you're right. Yeah.
Davis went down with the knee, yes, then Vildor came in. So I guess, in the spot duty, maybe he was just kind of a little bit in over his head and he was bewildered a little bit. No, because Vildor was in for Terrion last week. But I think Carlton Davis went down for a time and Vildor came in for him, but that just wasn't last game. But I think with that being just his kind of first starting action, and I don't know, man, he was just yes, he didn't allow anything in the second half, but also Anthony Richardson was like 38% completions for the entire game. Like his completion percentage was really bad. And if you take off, he was like 11 for 29. And if you take off that little push pass garbage, he was like 10 for 28. And that's like very bad percentage. So I don't know that it was more of Kendall Vildor just kind of locking in the second half, or was it more of Anthony Richardson just being bad?
I think kind of know what Kendall Vildor is based off last year. Like he's like a middle of the pack cornerback. I don't think he's like anything supremely good, but I think he could survive out there starting. And obviously last week, I get the first half again, but just the overall game, man, not a single touchdown allowed. So I'm not really tripping like that. I'm fine with Vildor being in either situation, and I'm not going to question AG, who played cornerback himself, along with Dan Campbell and these guys deciding to go with Vildor in that situation. I think he probably is the best guy, obviously, unless Emmanuel Mosley's fully healthy and can take the snaps, can play that type of snap count, and can just jump right back in and play outside. Then I want him. But as of now, that'd be my pick of the litter. With no Ennis Straw available either. It's Vildor. I don't think anybody should be upset with that. I think they could joke about it, whatever. A lot of people, let's be real about it, kind of casual about it. So they're gonna disrespect and throw that stuff around. But like you can't just throw out another name out of hope. You know what I'm saying? You got to have like some concrete evidence, and with anybody else, there just isn't that.
Well, I'll tell you what, I am hoping. I'm hoping Emmanuel Mosley will go. But you know what? I will give Kendall Vildor this one saving grace. He is an ex-Chicago Bear. It's a revenge game for him.
Yeah. Yeah,
right?
I think he started that season from at the corner. Started.
Yeah, we signed them. We signed him off their practice squad.
Yeah, it would be good.
So yeah, I think the fuel is, the fire is going to be fueled. The flames are going to be stoked. All right. So the next question that I have about this Bears offense, what I saw when I watched the game against the Packers, and it got opened up a little bit more when they played the Minnesota Vikings, but there was a lot of short passing. There was one play in particular that stood out to me. It was like a 3rd and 2, and they threw the ball behind the line of scrimmage, and they lost 2 more yards. So then it was a 4th and 4. But then, of course, Caleb did what he did, and I'll talk about that in a little bit. And he was able to scramble for the first down and give them a new set of downs in kind of a crucial situation. It's pretty much an extension of the run game. And because it's an extension of the run game, I believe that the Detroit Lions will be able to shut it down pretty quickly. I am a big non-proponent of smoke screens, wide receiver screens and things. I hate those. I think the one that we threw to J-Mo last week against the Colts was kind of like one of the first ones that I've ever seen work for the Lions. They just don't. They're just,
Reminds me of that shitty Joe Lombardi offense that we used to run, man.
Right.
I think it's a horrible play. I think the only time really it would work well or can work well is in like the situation we saw against, I think it was the Texans where Amon-Ra had the touchdown, but Penei was out there. You know what I'm saying? You had Penei swinging out there. So I would, like you said, like that's an extension of the run game, like a long
Long
pitch
handoff.
almost. Yeah. So I mean
Right.
that's the only time in a short line, short yard situation. You said that's what the Chicago Bears are doing though.
Yeah, that's what the Chicago Bears are doing.
Yeah, I've been seeing a lot
That's
of
what
screens for DJ Moore.
Yeah, that's what they were doing the first week. Now they opened up a little bit more in the second week against the Vikings. So now my question to you is, do you think that this offensive line has somehow turned it around, or do you think they were just on a higher alert because they were playing the Vikings and they were playing with that high pressure defense, and they had, I guess, they had to scheme the pressure out. So do you think they'll kind of get caught with their pants down again against the Lions? Because to be quite honest, I mean, our pass rush is decent, but now that I guess we're blitzing more since Aidan Hutchinson went out. I think we're one of the highest blitzing percentages in the league. But we're not the Minnesota Vikings, Brian Flores. We're not bringing the type of pressure that the Texans bring. So what do you think the Bears offensive line will look like this week or tomorrow against the Detroit Lions?
I think the interior is susceptible. I think Za'Darius Smith and Ali McNeil probably expose that, especially in passing situations and third down and whatnot. I think the offensive struggles beforehand were a lot to deal with. Their offense coordinator that's no longer there, and Shane Waldron. I think he's a little bit overstimulated with let's be real about it. They got weapons, man. They really do. It just he didn't know what the hell he was doing. I think he's one of those coaches where instead of coaching for like what you have, he just tried to coach what he believed in, and I think that's where he failed that team. Because obviously, just 2 weeks of Thomas Brown, I mean, the offense almost night and day. You know what I'm saying? At least more productive, instead of like using the good players as distractions, they're using them. It's
Right.
I never really. I remember JSN had some comments about Shane Waldron. Obviously, it sounded like from the those Dion, the people I know with the Bears or whatever, like same situation. A lot of the Bears locker room was happy to see him go. But yeah, I think if we could get them in passing situations, that interior is very susceptible. I think Ali McNeil, and I don't know if you notice, like Za'Darius Smith, they rush him literally in the middle on third down. And if they're not a second down long, they'll do a tight end stunt, or I'm sorry, defensive end stunt where he's looping around to go inside. So I think Za'Darius and Ali McNeil, this game is kind of cliche, you say about any game really, but this game more than most, I think it's going to rely on the trenches on both sides of the Detroit Lions. The offensive line running and in their hand, and then Lee McNeil and Za'Darius Smith getting dirty, getting after it and forcing Caleb Williams or just sacking him. He holds on to that ball too long. That's he happens to do. He tends to do that often because he's always looking for a home run play.
Yeah, hero ball.
Yeah.
And this is the thing that I've said about Caleb Williams. But before I get too far off the point and because I can talk about Caleb Williams forever, he's just like Jordan Love to me. I can hate on him forever. I'm not good. I don't deny their talent, but I think their flaws are things that are going to keep them out of winning ways, or at least winning games that are important to win. You know what I mean? I mean, you can rack up 16 regular season games a year, go 16-1 every year. But if you can't do it in the postseason, then what does it matter? But the question that I have is, I think with Anthony Richardson, what we saw last week, whether it was scheme or whether it was just Aleem McNeil dominating the guard, there was a lot of priority on the inside pressure, the interior pressure, putting the pressure in the lap, because Anthony Richardson was very rattled by interior pressure. It wasn't so much exterior pressure. That's when you saw them falling in his lap and he wasn't able to put the right amount of touch on throws, and he was overthrowing guys and all these things. Do you think there's going to be a focus for that against Caleb Williams?
Yeah. Last week heading into that game, I believe they were ranked like third worst in letting up interior pressure. The Colts did. And I know they had some injuries. They got some good rookies over there too on the interior of that offensive line. And similar situation with the Bears. The interior offensive line is pretty weak. So I expect that game. I think it's that was almost an ideal like practice situation for the Detroit Lions defense to go against that Colts offense with that type of offensive line to see what worked. And I think they did get it to work. Lee McNeil had 4 pressures. I think Za'Darius had 5. So yeah, I expect those two specifically. Maybe even DJ Reader to a certain extent. He got after it too. I think he had 2 pressures. So for sure, we're gonna be in his face, and he's either gonna roll out and run. That's why if I know you're in Australia, but here in Michigan, I'm betting on the over 30 yards, whatever they had him down for. Or he's going to try to hold on and do those pirouettes and all that weird shit he tries to do. Like you said, the hero ball.
Yeah.
And we just got to pray that the corners are in phase or one of our playmakers like Kirby or Brian Branch are there.
Right. So now I know that AG doesn't like to use a spy, but the way that Caleb Williams gets his rushing yards is literally, you remember, you know, I know you didn't always used to be a big guy. I know you pretty slim. You played linebacker before, right? Do you remember, what is that? It's kind of like 7-on-7, but mostly like it's basically backyard football when you had that one guy, and I was that guy. I was that quarterback who, you know, they had to make rules for. You just let everybody run downfield and then you take off. And they're like, nah, man, you got to count 7 Mississippi before you take off. You know what I mean? This is what Caleb Williams does. Okay. I feel like the reason that he was 7 carries or 9 carries for 70 yards against the Packers was because he just kept doing that. Like, he's very, and I'll give him props, within the pocket, he's very slippery. And it is frustrating to me because I feel like he's the most unathletic runner that I've ever seen at the quarterback position. Right? He's like the most, his body is out of control when he's running. He's like that guy when you go to the Y, okay, or the rec center, shout out Spinney and Centerline and all that situation that Jack got going on over there. But when you go to the rec and you playing basketball and you see a dude over there, you're like, I'm not guarding him because I'm going to get injured. I'm going to catch a bow to the face. You know what I mean? Like, he's just that kind of runner. It's just like he doesn't, his body is going all, it's really ugly to look at. But that's what frustrates me about him being so unathletic looking, but being so athletic in the pocket and so slippery. And then he's able to slip out, and everyone's got their backs turned and they're downfield and they're covering. And he, you know, before anybody realizes he's gone, he's 7, 8, 9, 10 yards down the field, and he's getting the, you know, first down and getting out of bounds, or he's sliding or whatever. So do you think that because he does this, and this has just been on film for the entire year pretty much, do you think that AG does something to allocate someone, even if it's not called a spy, he does something to allocate someone to be on Caleb Williams?
He does not believe in it. Yeah, our guy, we don't really let it happen mine too much often, but John Macaroon asked that question specifically. I believe it was leading up into the Seattle game.
Yeah.
And AG he ripped him a new one. Yeah. I don't think it's anything he believes in doing. I think he wants his guys in phase. He doesn't want to waste energy on someone spying the quarterback for whatever reason. They just don't do it. But this year it's worked for the most part against like rushing quarterbacks. But I'm cool. But I also like, I almost subscribe to that now too, just because like we've played these guys, we've beat these guys, and you can't do that consistently and win a game unless your name's Lamar Jackson, Cam Newton, Michael Vick. And I would even just limit those conversations probably like those 3 because they actually won games while doing that. Because you got to remember, like, running that football takes energy out of you. You got to go back to the huddle. You got to call a play. You got to snap the ball. You got to be, like, within, like, your mind to, like, read the field. And I think it takes away energy. You don't want your guy taking unnecessary shots. You don't want even, like, sliding is a little bit of abuse to the leg. If you're not good at it, you know, you can mess stuff up. Probably a little over-exaggeration on the last part, I ain't going to lie. But he's not going to be able to do that consistently enough. Otherwise, they would have did it all week last week or all game last game with Anthony Richardson. Because he's a type that he's built like a damn freaking tight end. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I'm not, even if he does get off a few of them, as long as they're not like third down, like crucial situations, I'm cool with it, man. Honestly, I'm really not even tripping over that. And I think I was talking to Scott Bischoff, like at certain moments and against the Kyler Murray,
Mm-hmm.
they would stop rushing and back off. When he looked
Right.
like he was going to take off. So I think it'd be similar to that one. Like they'll just rush and eject themselves when he looks like he's going to get happy feet.
Okay. Yeah, that is a good comparison. I guess there are a few design runs for Kyler Murray, but I think most of his damage is done scrambling. And I think Caleb Williams is the same way. I really honestly would have to go back and look at all the games that they've played, but I don't remember him actually running anything that was designed. It just seems everything that he does is scrambling. And that's why I said about people having their backs turned. All right, so what do you expect do you think that this defense of the Chicago Bears is playing poorly? They're underachieving for sure. What do you think the reason is for that?
I thought it was Shane Waldron. I thought he just kind of overstimulated with like what he had going on. I think
I
he's
mean, the
trying to
defense.
the Chicago Bears defense.
Yeah.
Man, that I don't really have too much of an answer to. I didn't really watch too much of them, but I know they don't have the same defensive coordinator as they did last year. I know Eberflus is supposed to be like their main defensive guy, but I guess this year they're playing a lot more single high than they were years prior, and obviously it's not working out for the best. I think they allowed the 13th fewest passing yards though, so the passing game is kind of there. I think obviously they're missing Jaquan Brisker too. I think he's a really good safety. They both play the pass and drop down to the box too. A little bit of a bully, so I think obviously having him helps as well. But I think maybe it might have been the guy that whatever he got caught up on, whatever they were searching his house for, he might have been a good defensive coordinator. You know what I'm saying? So if he gets past that, he might have a job in this league. But if got to figure out what the hell's going on with that situation. But yeah, I mean, it's just off the top of my head. That's the only thing I really think to, because I didn't really watch any other games outside of the Jacksonville game, and I found myself more just waiting to see Caleb, because Jacksonville's offense at that time was fucking horrible. They dropped everything, so you couldn't even really get a read on the defense.
Yeah, well, quiet as it's kept, I think Jaquan Brisker is probably going to be out of the league, and I don't know if he gets another contract. And the reason that I say that is because listening to some Bears podcasts, and I do this particularly for entertainment, okay? Because before Shane Waldron was fired, it was so like I was drinking the tears of the Bears fans. I put it in a little elixir, and made an energy drink out of it. But now just listening to them, of course, they want Ben Johnson as their head coach next year. But one thing that I think was Alex Brown, he said about Jaquan Brisker is like, I asked Jaquan because he said, Jaquan gives no F's about nothing. He don't care about nothing. He was like, so I asked him about his play style. Does he think that maybe he can change that up? And he was like, bro, I don't know how to play any other way. So that's why you don't see him on the field, because he doesn't know how to play any other way. He might hit you like Mike Tyson, but he's knocking himself out at the same time. And that's why he's on IR with the concussion. And I think he's going to continue to get those concussions because he's not willing to change his play style. So he's probably not going to be around for very long. I would say to you that the reason that, and then again, when you said the 13th fewest, I mean, 13 is not a great number. I mean, it's out of the top 10. It's right between the top 10 and the middle of the pack. It's not a great number, So I think, and when you have numbers like that, Jared Goff could have a 300-yard game on him. You know what I'm saying? Especially if they're playing single high. I mean, no one is dumb enough in this league, and we haven't seen it this year. It's just been a lapse here and there in judgment for or maybe just a blown coverage. No one's playing single high safety because J-Mo's over there, right? And if that dude, like, bro, you need to help him. You need to help who's on him. Tyreek Stevenson, Jalen Johnson, neither one of those guys is a burner, is going to be able to keep up with JMO. So if you want to single them up, you can do it if you want to, but you're going to F around and find out. But I would say that I think the defense as a whole, because if you look at their run defense, it's bad. Okay, their run defense isn't great this year. And as we've said before, defending the run is an attitude. You know what I mean? It's a style of play. You have to want to tackle. You have to be willing to tackle. And it's a pride thing. You're not going to punch us in the mouth. And because they don't have that pride, I think their defense has suffered. Yeah, they got all the players, they got all the names and the talent. But as we said, Montez Sweat didn't get his first sack for a month until last week, and it was late in the game. So I don't know. Maybe because you did start off by saying Shane Waldron, maybe he was the problem with the defense. Maybe he just completely deflated this entire locker room, and they're looking over at the offense like, man, y'all not gonna do nothing. You know what I'm saying? We could stop these people all game. We could hold them to 3 points, and we're gonna pray that you can get 3 points. So I don't know. Maybe the firing of Shane Waldron has pretty much uplifted this entire team. However, when they were playing these last 2 games against the Packers and the Vikings, they couldn't really stop them from doing what they wanted to do or what they needed to do at the time that they needed to do it. And this is why they lost. Is there anything that you can see which would cause the Detroit Lions to, other than this being a divisional game? And this is what I caution people of all the time. People predict blowout. I've never predicted a blowout in a divisional game. It's crazy. Okay. You got to look at the 2-8 Browns versus the 8-2 Steelers. And now it's the 3-8 Browns and the 8-3 Steelers. Okay. No one had them winning that game except for, I didn't think they would win, but I wasn't surprised because it's a divisional game and you got to throw out the records. We know you, we hate you, and we want to ruin your season. And that's what happens when it comes in to divisional games. So is there any way other than the divisional aspect that you can see the Detroit Lions possibly dropping this game?
I think it'd be a close game. Kind of like you were saying, but nah, man. Not really. It would have to be one of those goofy Goff games for that to be the situation. I just at the end of the day, I think we're just too tough mentally to allow this one to slip. Like, yeah, we're facing injuries. Yeah, it's a division game. Yeah, this team's kind of been a pain in your ass the past couple of years. But I just think this year, man, they're approaching this. Even the new guys that we've collected, they're approaching this year different, man. They have a different fortitude within their mind. They're in a big fucking Mack truck, and I'm sorry if you don't swear your chin, I apologize. But like, they're just in a big truck, rolling everybody over, without cause for concern. They don't care, and I think that's what this game will be. And I think at the end of the day, kind of like I said, like the line, offensively and defensively, we should. I think we could dominate those spots.
Well, see, the thing about my channel, I don't, as a person, as a human being, I don't swear. I think I swore enough from the time I was 5 years old up until the 5th grade. So I don't miss it. But I'm not trying to control people on my channel. Like, I don't micromanage people. I don't micromanage the chat. You know, the chat comes in and they talk and they have a good time and they hang out and they talk about what they want to talk about. I'm not deleting people's comments. Yeah, I'm not a micromanager. I'm not a megalomaniac. I'm not any of those things. You understand what I'm saying? But I'm not going to censor you, my friend, because that's what makes you you. Okay, so when you come on my channel, you be easy. That's what the people know you as. That's what they want to see. Okay. So just apologize to people if they have kids in the car and just, do what you do.
I appreciate it, man.
Hey, man. Hey, I know you said that you have to go. I don't know if you have time. If you have to go, I'll let you go. If you can stay, then I'll keep you around a little bit longer and shoot the poop. like James Houston. What you want to do?
I do gotta get going,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm gonna talk to you. I'm gonna talk to you because we might have to. We'll talk. I'm gonna talk to you, and I'm gonna slide your DM. Shoot me a message when we get off live.
Okay, definitely. All right, my man. Appreciate you coming through. Everybody, that is easy. You know where to catch them every day. So hold on, let me get this time right. It's 5 to 7.
Yes.
Right?
Yep.
Okay, cool. See, because I'm working with 2 different time zones. You guys come on at 9 in the morning for me. So it's 5 to 7 Eastern time.
We're like your morning show.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
a lot
You
of
guys
swearing
are my
for the
morning
morning.
show.
I apologize.
Usually I'm working, you know what I mean? So I'm good. You know, so if I was, because before I was working at night, but now I started working in the morning. So no, I'll never have the kids in the car. So I'm good. I just can't be in the chat because I'm driving, but yeah, you guys know where to find them. Woodward Heavyweights, 5 to 7, Monday through Friday on Woodward Sports. Shout out Easy, shout out Spimo, shout out Chris, Nick, KG, everybody at Woodward Sports, because I love the people at Woodward Sports. They've been nothing but good to me. I started out as a member of their chat, and Easy is a person that always encouraged me to go after it and do it. So I'm doing it, man. And even though there are people trying to knock me down, I'm still doing it.
Yeah. Hey, man, like I said, hit me up when you get off air, all right?
All right. Peace out, man.
I'll see you guys. Hey, everybody smash that like button, and I'll see you guys later.
All right. All right. So let's get back to it. What you guys saying in the chat? So here's Johnny. Says game day already. Yes, it is game day. Mr. Morale 313. What up, though? To you. It is what it is. Hold on. Let me see if I can do something here. Let me see if it will allow it to happen. I don't know if it will. Let me see. I'm gonna see if I can switch softwares right quick and see if it will do anything. Okay, so it seems to have switched seamlessly. Let me see if I close the other one. Okay, yeah, all right, I'm back now. Okay. All right, that didn't work out the way that I thought it would work out. It worked in my head a lot better than it actually worked in real life. So basically I was trying to switch platforms. All right. But anyway, we saw what Easy had to say about the Chicago Bears. I didn't get a score prediction from him. I should have got a score prediction. That's what I should have got. What are you guys thinking about the Chicago Bears? Do you agree with the things that we said? Do you disagree? Is there any point that you would like to have seen us cover that we didn't cover? Do you have any questions in the chat about this game? Is anybody afraid of the Chicago Bears? Let me know if anybody's afraid of the Chicago Bears, and I'll try to get you to be very unafraid of the Chicago Bears. Let me see here. Hold on. Don't mind me. I'm just trying to do some MacGyver stuff. Just seeing if more than one just using primary URL still on one stream to the primary. Okay, let's see if we can do this. All right. Okay. Anyway, y'all can see it, so we will not really worry about that next time. So anyway, what's gonna happen, right? When I have guests on, I'll use StreamYard because it's a lot easier. We don't have audio problems, we don't have echoes, we don't have any of that stuff. And then when I'm just doing my regular show, yeah, I'll just use OBS. Now here's a question that I have for you guys in the chat. I'm trying to do call-ins during the live streams. If you guys want to call in, like while we're live streaming games or during the post game or whatever, let me know. Because if you want to call in, if you want to talk about the game, like at halftime, what did you think? Blah 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 blah. Let me know, because if so, then I'll have to stream the game on StreamYard. If that's not something that you want to do, let me know, because then I'll just keep going with OBS. I think the quality of the stream is better, but that's 1080p. This is 720p, because I'm also not gonna pay $30, $35 a month just to use Streamlabs Premium when OBS is free. I ain't making that money yet, but hey, I get to 1,000 subscribers, and then we'll talk about that. So Mr. Morale 313 says, I am not afraid. I just hope we don't get more injured than anything else. Yeah. Bro, the injuries. One angle that I didn't look at. Lone Spoon says, yeah, I'm not worried about the Bears. I'm thinking something like the Colts game. Maybe they score a touchdown. So the things I'm worried about are the secondary, the injuries in the secondary. I just hope that Terrion Arnold gets an interception or two. Him being the top dog now, I hope he steps into that role seamlessly, and his vet is going to be on the sidelines, not in the game playing, in Carlton Davis. So I just hope that he gets he just transfers that energy to him, and he just brings that dog out of him. And I hope he dominates whoever's over there. If they put CJ Moore or DJ Moore on him, if they put Keenan Allen or Rome Odunze, whoever they put on him, I just hope he dominates them. And I do hope that he gets that interception. So Lone Spoon says, for the most part, double-digit win. It's possible. For me, here's the thing, and I've said this before, and I guess we can just dive into a little bit more now, because this is the previous show. What is the mindset of the Bears? What he said, Vildor should have been in the same car as James Houston. The same car as James Houston driving up to Cleveland. Or is it down in Cleveland? Yeah, down in Cleveland. That's crazy. But here's the thing that I'm thinking about. What is the mindset of the Chicago Bears? I feel like, and this is going to go a long way for them. Are they the same old Bears? And what I mean by that is, do they actually believe in themselves now? Because like I said about Shane Waldron, they're looking at the offense like, man, it don't matter if we hold people to 2 points. Are y'all going to be able to score 3? Damn, if we held them to 6 points, are y'all going to be able to score 7? If we hold them to 9, are y'all going to be able to score 10? The answer is no. So I think there was a little bit mentally that the Bears defense has lost. And that's why I was talking about the running game and it being a whatchamacallit, a mentality, a mindset, right? They just played the Green Bay Packers. It was their first game after firing Shane Waldron as the offensive coordinator. We felt like they had that new coach bump. Okay. If you want to know what the new coach bump is, just look at the New Orleans Saints. So they had the new coach bump. The offense was different, right? It was a lot of long extended handoffs and things like this, short throws. Then they came in and they were like, okay, cool. New coach bump. We like new coach. Caleb Williams is getting the ball out of his hands quickly. He's got an entire game where the only thing he was supposed to do was get the ball out quickly. He was drop back one step, boom, get the snap, one step, throw, get the snap, turn, throw. It's a one read or nothing. Okay. That's what the focus was for Caleb Williams in that first game. They lost that game on a block kick. Okay. Matt Eberflus is the problem. Matt Eberflus should have probably run the ball at least one more time, try to get the field goal a little bit shorter. Cool. That's the problem, right? Now they go on and they play the Minnesota Vikings. And they are down, was it 27-10 in the fourth quarter? And they rally back. They get the 17 points. They send it to overtime. Caleb Williams, I believe, cost him the game in overtime by taking a big 15-yard sack on what was it, like second down? So now it was third down and 15, and then right after the sack, they come out and there's a delay of game, which is always on the quarterback. So now it's 3rd and 21. They're not going to get anything. The Vikings get the ball back and they just drive straight down the field and score, and the game is over. Do the Bears come back from that? Or because they showed an incredible amount of fight. Okay, you're down 17 in the fourth quarter and you come back and you get those 17 points that you need to take it to overtime. Do the Bears come back from that, or do those two in the division losses get into their psyche and just once they see things going wrong, once that offense is not able to get humming? Because here's the other thing. The thing that they did not fix with that offense was that it doesn't get going quickly. Now, if you didn't hear what Carlton Davis said, Carlton Davis did say, hey, we kind of give you that first drive so that you can show your hand, so that you can show us what you're going to do. And then we adjust to everything and lock everything down for the rest of the game. Okay. Remember, the Colts just went right down the field. You were like, what is this defense doing? They went right down the field. They tightened up in the red zone. They got 3 points, didn't get anything else for the rest of the game except 3 more points. Right. So maybe the Bears go right down and get 3 points. But if they're just that bad, they're not going to go down and get anything. Right. So do you think if they go right down and they get 3 points and then they get nothing else for the rest of the first half, and going into the half, the score is something like 21-3, do you think the Bears just pack it in, or do you think they continue to fight? So Lone Spoon says the one thing the Bears are going to do is believe in themselves. Okay. Regardless if that belief is warranted. Regardless if that belief is warranted. Let me see. Bump that up. Okay, cool. All right, there we go. That's better. Because my chat was super small. So yeah, it says the one thing that the Bears are going to do is believe in themselves, regardless of if that belief is warranted. So you think that they're just gonna keep fighting for the whole game? I don't want to see that. They keep fighting. It would be similar to the Vikings game. Okay, yeah, the Bears versus the Vikings. So they'll just continue fighting. Okay. I mean, scrappy team. The reason that I believe that they're gonna keep fighting is just because of their coach. I think everyone feels relieved, and I'm not talking about Eberflus. I'm talking about Thomas Brown. I think everyone is just happy to have Shane Waldron out of the building, and it's just giving this team a boost. Now they're still not a very good team. There's still a lot of things that they have to clean up, but they do have the talent. The talent that they don't have is on the offensive line, which is why I believe this offense can't get going. Here's a thought. The bad offensive line is good for Caleb Williams' development. Does anybody know why I say that? The bad offensive line is good for Caleb Williams' development. And this is something I never thought about until now, because he also hasn't shown that development up until this point. What's going on, Harpazo? My guy. You found me. You found me. No, not because he's a scrambling QB. I think it's because the one thing that I said that will derail Caleb Williams. All right. And if you haven't heard this, I'm gonna tell you what I'm gonna tell you my breakdown of Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams, I didn't watch Caleb Williams in college, but what happened was during the draft process, somebody put together a video of all of Caleb Williams' runs and passes from his senior season. There you go. Because he loves to play hero ball. And so I watched that whole thing, all runs, all passes, and I was like, this kid loves hero ball. He does not know how to let a play die. So why I think having a terrible offensive line is good for his development is because at some point he has to learn that he cannot do that in the NFL. Some plays you got to keep them alive in certain situations, which is what he was trying to do in the overtime, but that wasn't the situation. It was not yet do or die, but you turned it into do or die because you put your team in a bad situation, a third down that you couldn't get out of, so you weren't going to be able to get a fourth or to do a fourth down conversion because you couldn't get out of the third down. It was third and a million. So now you're going to have fourth and a million. So you had the ball first, which meant, yes, possibly they could have gotten the ball back. But what you also could have done was given yourself 3 points and made them go down and score a touchdown. Or if they go down and kick a field goal, you get the ball back. And then you have the final score that's able to win the game. So there was this mismanagement of the situation. And if he understands the situations, if he understands how to manage situations, when to play hero ball and when to just get the ball away, he's going to be very dangerous. Right? He's going to be very dangerous in the league. He is going to be their first 4,000-yard passer. You know, he's going to break a lot of franchise records for passing in Chicago and all these things. But I hope he doesn't learn these things. This is what I hope. I hope he doesn't learn any of this stuff. I hope he continues to toil in mediocrity and not be able to figure it out. But the city is behind him, so to speak, right now. I think if you get to year 2, and again, you don't see this love of hero ball go away, and he's making the same types of mistakes in big moments, then I think this city is going to sour on him pretty quickly. Matt Eberflus is going to be fired. That's just the way it is. We hope the Bears bear and keep him for another year, which would be wild and crazy. Not firing Matt Eberflus is wild. Okay, he's not a good coach. But I don't think that he's not going to be fired. The problem that we have is a coach in the NFL who is going to, whether he has coached in the NFL before or not, whether he was in college last year or not, he will have looked at Caleb Williams tape. Okay, that's just it. He will have watched Caleb Williams film, and he'll have to understand how to fix him. And probably what he's going to have to do to get the job is he's probably going to have to present to Ryan Poles. If Ryan Poles is still there, I don't think they're going to fire the GM, but he's probably going to have to present to Ryan Poles his plan to fix Caleb Williams. And it's got to start with, okay, well, we're just not going to let him play hero ball. Right. So this is the thing. This is the thing that's going to break that kid hero ball. If I can understand it, as a guy that didn't even watch him, I didn't pour over hours of film in college. This coach is going to have to pour over hours of college film and watch everything that he does in college, not just every run and pass that he did last year. He's going to have to watch everything that he did in the NFL, and he's going to have to be able to present a plan, and that's what it's going to start with. So if I can see this and I can understand it as a podcaster, I'm pretty sure the next coach that they have will be able to understand it. But also, Matt Eberflus wasn't able to. So it's not a foregone conclusion that everyone is just that smart. Not firing him would be the most Bear thing to do. And I just hope and pray that the Bears are going to bear. All right, guys, I appreciate you coming through, stopping by, hanging out. Eberflus definitely is the worst coach in our division. All of the coaches that are not Bears coaches are very good coaches. Okay. Obviously, Matt LaFleur has proven that he is not an Aaron Rodgers merchant. Obviously, we know Kevin O'Connell, the job he's doing over there in Minnesota. Obviously, we have one of the best coaches in the league in Dan Campbell. So Matt Eberflus is way out of his league and way over his head. So they're going to have to bring someone into Chicago that can look like the other three, that can be doing some of the things that the other three are doing. But it goes Campbell 1, LaFleur 2, O'Connell 3. And I don't even think Eberflus should be 4. I just don't think he should be on the list. It'd be like, rank the coaches in the division. Campbell, LaFleur, O'Connell. What about number 4? There is no number 4. There is no number 4. All right, guys. I appreciate you hanging out with me once again. I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. Ben Johnson is not number 4. Stop it, Lone Spoon. Don't you do that. Don't you do that. Or he's number 4 right now. Nah, if he's number 4 and on our team, I'm putting him over O'Connell. I'm just saying, if we can do that exercise and Ben Johnson could be ranked amongst the head coaches while he's still on our team, I'm going to put him over O'Connell. That's just me, but I'm only basing it on his offensive output. All right, but guys, I gotta go, man. I appreciate you hanging out, stopping by. The person that's coming through for a drinking conversation is none other than a Grammy Award winning artist, a writer, a philanthropist, a photographer, a stripper. Two of my club, Shay. All right, guys. Once again, the Motor City Cats back at it. Came to give you stats, none of the static. And if you want to do something, again, I can't tell you what to do, but if you want to do something, I'm gonna give you a recommendation. Make sure you keep your Lions news pragmatic, and we out. Peace.